All right, so let's talk about trailing here real quick. So I had to take the boat out the second time she's ever been on a trailer. I thought we'd just take this opportunity to go over what it's like to trailer the R27 outboard. So first thing, we trailer the motor. You have these motor sticks. What these things do is they sit on top of the rod and they transfer the weight of the engine to the transom so that it doesn't bounce and stuff when you're going down the road. You just set them right there and it makes it solid for trailing and keeps the engine kicked up so it doesn't drag. You do those. Obviously, you do your straps in the back on both sides. And way up top, you can see up there, I tie the antenna back, a little bungee so it doesn't flop in the wind as it goes down the road. One of the other cool things that the truck has is it's got integrated lights for trailering. The trailer obviously has its own lights, brake light stuff, but they're also integrated into the actual boat. You've got brake lights, turn signals, and you've got running lights on the side and stuff too. How that gets controlled is that right inside the anchor well there's a connection. So I think it's a 4-pin or 5-pin connection that this goes from the trailer into the boat to control those lights. So inside the anchor locker, you'll find one of these. This is actually what connects to this, that then runs all the way down to the trailer, then connects to the boat. And obviously the trailer's got its own integrated lights. Talk about this for a minute. So when we put the boat on the trailer in the water, this was touching. And what happens is because the weight of the boat on the trailer and the ramp, the trailer will actually flex and close this gap. When you pull it out, you'll have a gap here. There's two ways to fix this. I call it the Ranger bump, which means you drive the boat and you hit the brakes and have the boat slide forward. I tried that, I'm not a big fan of that. The other way is you look down here on the trailer, right? You bring a ratchet, and we'd have to do this in advance because there's not enough space here, but I would have moved this forward about 6 inches, and then this would have touched, load the boat, you'll have the gap, and then you would loosen these and you would slide it back to close that gap. That's probably the easier way to handle that, and do that every time you load it and unload it. But we anchored it down with some good tight straps, still have the safety chain, still have this. She towed just fine. You know, let's talk about how far we're going and trailing, right? Because the other thing is you guys will notice that I have a half-ton pickup. Everybody always asks me about a half-ton pickup towing the boat, right? Well, first off, I've got a Dodge Ram 1500 Sport. It's got the 5.7 liter with the A8 transmission. Dodge rates it to 10,300 pounds for towing. Not your normal half-ton pickup. So she tows just fine, but also keep in mind, I'm only towing about 50 miles off, from Everett to La Conner, Everett to Anacortes. I'm not going across mountains. If I was trailering my boat from waterway to waterway and I bought the boat to be a trailerable boat, I would have a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton pickup, right? But the setup I have, the other thing I did too was I'm probably right at capacity on towing at 10,000 pounds, would be my guess. I've got the wastewater tank is completely empty. The freshwater tank of 40 gallons is completely empty. Wastewater tank is 30 gallons, so that's no 30 gallons in wastewater, no 40 gallons of fresh water. And the 150-gallon gas tank at 6 pounds per gallon for gas, I've got 30 gallons in the tank. So I did that on purpose to lighten the load and stuff with the boat, just to make it easier to tow. And she did just fine. No issues, brakes and all that work really good. So it's electric brakes actually on it. It's a float-on trailer, really nice aluminum I-beam. Oh, and then other things for trailering, if you zoom in, obviously you drop the mast sideways, and anchor it down. Interesting fact is the 5G router and my security surveillance and battery monitoring all continue to work even with the antenna on its side like that. The other thing I did too is I take the anchor off. The last time I trailered the boat wasn't the float-on trailer, and the anchor interfered with the top. So I did that proactively. It looks like I probably could have left the anchor on. It may have worked. And then talk about power. So With the 400 watts of solar, here we are in the middle of winter, right? It's January. So we're getting 8 hours of sunlight a day, and the sun's really low on the horizon. So I'm getting 150 to 250 watt hours a day, which isn't a lot. So I rigged the boat for reduced electrical. I pull both fuses on the refrigerator, and I pull the AIS fuse. And then the boat pulls 21 watts 24/7 a day. And solar actually isn't even enough to keep up with that, but the rate of descent is so slow that I probably get 12, 14 days like that. If I turn off the 5G router itself, and then and shut off the battery monitoring remote ability of it, the boat would last indefinitely off of solar power through the wintertime. You know, if we just hit the DC breaker to off, then the batteries will stay 100% charged. There's plenty of sun to support just keeping the batteries topped off. Now with that, time to go launch the boat.
If you enjoyed watching this video, click the screen to watch another.